Welcome to the Winter Treeline tutorial video. This is the third card in our mini series. I'm going to walk you through the things that we need to create this card. First of all, we need the Winter Cottage stamp set. We're going to use the sentiment from the Snowman stamp set. We have a mini ink cube in charcoal grey, a water brush marker which is a metallic silver, some silver thread, the Creative Edges evergreen die, some water in a spray bottle and a paintbrush, a acrylic block, and there'll be a few other things that we use along the way. So let's get started. I'm going to start by getting out my mini blossom die cutting machine. This is a really cute little machine from Altenew. I've got a piece of card which measures 2 1/4 inch by 4 1/4 inch, and I've already put some sticky tape on the edge. I'm going to use this to cut the Creative Edges die. So I'm just going to secure this near the top of the piece of card using some washi tape. I'm just going to run that through the die cutting machine. Now, I always cut into my thicker plate, but those of you with an eagle eye may notice that I do have some cutting marks on the thinner plate. This was a complete accident. So just run that through. I am using Solar Crest cardstock for both this die cut panel and for the card base. I have noticed that if you use two different cardstocks, you can actually tell when they're put together. So we'll just remove that cardstock from the waste part, but we'll keep that because I'll actually use that for some ink blending on another project. So there we have it. We've got our tree line looking all festive, and we're going to add this onto our card in a moment, but first of all we need to stamp our winter cottage. So I'm just going to pop that cottage stamp onto an acrylic block. I really like the Altenew acrylic blocks because they're quite chunky and they have grid lines, which makes it really nice to line up any text that you use. So I'm going to stamp this in the charcoal grey. I think it's charcoal grey, it might be charcoal suit, so I'll double check that. Just going to ink that up nicely, lots of ink. And then we're going to stamp this so it's sort of nestled behind the tree. So I've got the trees in place. You have to excuse my head from shot. And just slide the trees out the way and pop that down there. Lots of pressure, keeping one hand on the block at all times. And as you see, I'm using my trusted Altenew stamping mat. So we have that there. And what we're going to do is we're going to stamp the sentiment before we put things together. So as I said, that comes from the Snowman stamp set. Just pop that one out. Again, I'll use the same grey ink for stamping this. And you'll see this is the third video, and yet again I've put my sentiment just on the right hand side of the image. Don't know why, but it just seems to be what I'm doing at the moment with the sentiments. So I've just primed that stamp using an eraser. I'm going to ink it up and pop it just on that die cut piece. Okay, so there we have it. And to adhere this to the main card, I've got some double-sided tape on the back of it already, but what we're going to do is we're actually going to put some foam tape or foam pads higher up. But first of all, I think we should add some splattery marks in the background to look like snow. So I'm using the metallic silver water brush marker. Just going to pop some of that onto my mat. I think I shook it a bit too hard and lots came out. Okay, so my little paintbrush, just a few splats around there. It does make it look like snowfall, really nice wintry scene. So just light taps give you really nice small splatters. We just clean the ink up. Okay, now we need to stick this together. So as I said, I'm going to use some foam pads sort of towards the trees, so that will actually give it a little bit of dimension at the trees but keep the base of the card flat as well. So just 3 of those should do us. Just remove the backing off this tape. Okay, let's pop this together. Once again, I have my head in shot. I'm really sorry about that. Okay, then I think what we need to do next is add some silver twine. Now this is always a really fun part, trying to add twine live on a video. So I do muck up a couple of times here, but we get there in the end. Okay, so I've got a doubled over length, and then I just use my scissors to cut that down. Just going to pop it behind the card, bring it forward and attempt to tie a bow. You'll see here I tied the bow and then one of the ends wasn't actually included in what I tied, so I had to start again. But hey, we all make mistakes, I guess. Okay, so just tying that nicely. If you find that once you've tied it the thread is a little bit loose, you can turn your card over and secure it down with some double-sided tape. So there we have it, the card that I've just made and the sample card. So over to you now to have a try and see what you create.